So today we are going to be going over why Hugh Freeze got fired and why I think it was a good idea for Auburn to fire him and potential coaches for Auburn. Alright, so Hugh Freeze got fired yesterday. I couldn't upload yesterday, so I'm uploading early today. And I just think it was a good idea for Auburn to fire Hugh Freeze. Number one, because Hugh Freeze, I don't think, has led them to a winning season yet. Number two, they just lost to Kentucky, who's been at the bottom of the SEC for the past 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. And number three, he just doesn't look like the Hugh Freeze that we saw at Ole Miss. And I think that's why he is no longer the Auburn head coach. And if he's thinking of going anywhere else, he's gonna have to convince them with money, I'm pretty sure. Because he's pretty garbage. He can go to UAB, probably. UAB, Oregon State, like any of those like lower tier schools that still have an interim coach. He would be good there. Maybe Florida, maybe even Florida. I know that sounds ridiculous, but Florida I just think has been worse than Auburn for the past. I just think that they've been worse than Auburn. So Hugh Freeze getting fired is a big thing. Where I think he's gonna go, I just told you. Who I think has enough potential to take his place: Brian Kelly, James Franklin, Lane Kiffin. If you can get Clark Lee out of his job, he's another one. But those are like the only those are like the only head coaches that would go to Auburn. Now, Lane Kiffin at the beginning of his season, at the beginning of his year at Ole Miss, he was thinking of going to Auburn, and he might think twice before saying no. You never know. But he also is probably going to have offers from LSU and Florida. James Franklin, freshly fired. I just think that James Franklin would be a good fit there. Can't win the big games, only wins the small games, you know. I also think Brian Kelly would be good there. I think he might actually give him a bowl season for once. I also think who's that other coach that I said? Well, I don't remember, but I think those coaches. Clark Lee. I think he would be good there because he's just really turned Vanderbilt around. He has done really good in recruiting and transfer portal. I think Auburn really needs that this year or next. So there are my coaches that I think would be able to be good, and I think would be good to take the Auburn job. And if I think Hugh Freeze is going somewhere else, it'll probably be one of those like lower schools like Oregon State and stuff like that. Or he'll just retire and be at home like an old man. Never know. But yeah, I think Hugh Freeze getting fired was a great idea for Auburn. They need more room and recruiting and transfer portal equipment than Hugh Freeze gave them. So I feel like Lane Kiffin would be perfect because he brings in some of the best transfers in the country. Also think Clark Lee would be perfect because he also brings in some good transfers. Brian Kelly, he recruits good. He doesn't really transfer portal. He doesn't really use the transfer portal. And then James Franklin. Now James Franklin, he's just good overall. He's just good. This year he just got unlucky. He just lost. This year he couldn't win anything this year. So there are my coaches that I think would be good to take Auburn's place. And this is going to be a quick one, so I might upload again today. But I'll see y'all in the next video.